there's these people who kept going like woo, like randomly, like wooing, and I couldn't figure it out who it was. Like Kevin Hart was started, like he was doing a bit, and he was like saying about his dad. His lungs are fucked. Basically, he's like his breathing's fucked. Like he's had lung cancer. He's got like COPD, and the girl literally shouted woo after he said that. And I was sitting there going like, what the fuck?
Here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack. Welcome back, talking shit, I'm drinking wine, like and subscribe. Here's the crack.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Here's the Crack podcast. It's been a while since
Riding
we've all
solo today,
solo for the rest of our lives.
Guests left.
We've decided we're going to do a few wee solo podcasts, like, because
no guests left.
No guests left in this bucket
We're
list
on,
of ours. I think we've interviewed half the country.
Just gonna get to know each other today.
Yeah,
So special.
I feel like it's been a while since we've actually sat around and had a chat. Like, we've
Not a
been
joke.
obviously doing a lot with each other in terms of
Just back from Dublin, and we're going out again this weekend.
Dreading it.
Fucking sick looking at yous.
The end of the month ones are the worst.
Oh,
Telling you.
say we're tight for money now, hey.
I'm so tight for money, you must be worse. Like,
She runs into the credit union.
a few. Nah,
Scraping the panties in the
basically
shower.
giving you a brief timeline for anybody listening slash watching. We were away on the lash, hey.
Yeah.
We were way down to, what?
No,
You cracking your neck?
go on.
We were way down to Dublin. Went down for 2 nights. The hotel actually ended up being decent. It was the one fear that I had, that it was going to be an absolute kip, and it wasn't too. What did you think of it? Because you're
Dead
quite
on.
It was a kip, like last period. It was done.
But it was alright,
It,
like-
it is what when you it was like.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Like I didn't expect anything.
I think I expected worse though. With
Yeah.
some of the shit that people were saying.
I expected
Did
you
you see
were-
any music?
No.
Was the earplugs not
You weren't
very
there.
bad?
You weren't there when we first got there. I think if you were there when we first got there, he would have been like,
Why?
"What the fuck?" Because me and Bruno went. He went up and checked, and it was fine.
Yeah.
And then we went in, and they're like, "Is our room ready?" And they're like,
Oh,
"Yeah."
that's right.
And there's like, "Oh, there's just an issue with the top, and they're like it needs fixed." And we're like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "The top's not working." So like, there'll be someone around to fix it, but do you know what we're just setting, on? And we're like, "Oh, okay."
And did someone come around or?
I don't know.
You
They
went
went
there?
in and it was working fine, but I was just like, if that was you, I feel like you would have been like,
What did you do?
So I'm not gonna lie. The fact that when I walked in, I genuinely thought the boy was behind bulletproof glass, and I went, "What the heck's going on here?" Like.
yeah.
And then she obviously gave us the room key and all, and walked upstairs. And then he was like, then he goes, "You're just gonna have to walk up the stairs because the elevator's broken." And I went,
Yeah.
"There you go, strike number 2."
Yeah.
Walked around, and basically the way of telling people that the elevator was broken was to shove a massive trolley into the elevator.
Yeah.
And I was like, right.
I was
So then I
dodgy there.
walked up the stairs, went into the room. It was actually not that bad, apart from the fact I lay on the bed for a few minutes while I was messaging you saying we were going. And Lucinda was doing her makeup and all. And the next minute, all I heard was like pool balls breaking downstairs.
What?
And I was
I
like,
never heard of that.
like the pool balls, like as if you broke, like you racked up and broke them. Like,
Yeah.
heard that, and I was like, I better not hear that all night. Like, but then to be fair, we were in that late, and we were in that flipping well on. Like, you didn't really hear anything. Like,
No.
No, I didn't
But,
know. We came in and there was 3 slices of pizza just sitting on the fucking desk.
Just on the table.
They're just like, they were the most miserable cons of pizzas like I've ever seen in my life.
oh my
like.
god,
And then the next thing, fucking 2 girls
Massive.
came downstairs, and then your girl at reception was like, "Here, there's your pizza."
It's just like,
and they
take
just
some
left
pizza.
it and started eating it.
Take some pizza.
Just 3 slices of pizza just sitting there.
I
like,
think they must have worked there or something. No?
I
I
don't know.
to be fair, before I left, I bent down to. I was putting on. I had put a black t-shirt on. Then before I left, I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna wear my white t-shirt today because it's boiling." So I took off my took off a black t-shirt, went to put my white t-shirt on. The black t-shirt dropped, went on the floor, went to grab it, and I looked below the bed, and there was like a sock and like 40 toothpicks below
Oh
the
my
bed. Like.
This is an hotel.
Yeah, there was like like
Nasty.
the toothpicks. So it's like the wee spike at the end, and then the wee looks like a wee violin.
Yeah.
There were like 40 of them on the floor. Like, it's like, I don't know, maybe someone spilt it below the bed, or they were used. Like, who's sitting in bed with 40 toothpicks?
Are they all sticking out of the sock?
No, there was a sock, and then when I look, I see the
think
sock
that's some, like,
triggered
voodoo shit.
the sock made me go, what the frig? And then when I looked, and then I got down to make sure that it wasn't something like Lucinda had dropped, and when I looked, it was like,
dead under the bed.
just a ferret or something. But
no,
it was dead on for what we needed it. Like,
yeah, it was.
I mean, realistically, you could go at the minute and stay in Dublin, and it could cost you like €260 for one night. Like, it's not cheap, like, at all.
It would have been dear for a hotel in Belfast, but for down there, it was like the cheapest thing you could have got. Like, it was half the price of anything else.
I know.
What was it you were telling me about George Ezra? Somebody was going to go to George Ezra in Dublin, and it worked out cheaper.
Yeah, he was on the radio. No, they were in Parliament talking about this in the Irish Parliament.
Right.
They said that it's such a disgrace that he was speaking at one of the, what do they call them down there? Not one of the fucking
Parliament boys.
Them boys. Politicians.
Party
But
leader.
he was saying he was speaking to some
MPs.
young fella like during the week, and the George Ezra concert was on in Dublin,
Mm.
and he said he decided he had his tickets for the George Ezra concert, whatever the cost, and he decided to sell them and get tickets for the concert in Rome instead. Get flights to Rome and stay in Rome for 3 nights, and it cost the same as it did just to go down to Dublin and go to George
For
Ezra.
one night, no?
For maybe like I think he was staying over one night in the hotel in Dublin.
Yeah.
I genuinely think if I'd arrived in the mood that I was in whenever I got there, if I'd arrived when all that stuff went down in the hotel whenever you were there, I had probably packed up and left, because the whole way down in the bus there was this family got on in front of us, and the wee kid just kept sticking his head through the gap in the seat, but like when he stuck it through the gap in the seat, pushing his skin back, I guess, and just sitting staring at me, and I just felt like every time just going like, wow.
I'll do that again.
But expensive enough. Like, I mean, when you really add it up, like, I don't even want to look at my bank
I
account.
know, but like I was saying, like when you compare it to Belfast, the price of drink isn't much dearer.
Yeah,
like it wasn't.
suppose.
But we weren't really in like Tampa Bar area, I suppose. Like.
Right,
We were
like
more.
near 40, wasn't it? For 6, like.
I know, but like for a drink,
But then, like,
for a pint, it was
like the girls. Some of the girls were drinking Coronas, like
Yeah.
bottle of Corona. You shouldn't be paying fucking €5-6 for a Corona. Like,
I know, but like I'd say you wouldn't be paying much less up here. Like.
be hoping like 3 or 4.
Like
up
around
here, like.
a pint, like 2 pints was like €12. Like. So like it's €6 pint.
Was it even?
I think it was. Like.
Fuck, I think they're at least 7.
Well, even still.
That's still a lot, like.
I know,
You
but
would be-
like,
you'd
if
be
you're
raging
one-
if you went up here
I'd
and
say a
paid over
pint in
$5, like.
Cathedral Quarter is like $5.50. Like.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
But the Cathedral Quarter is the centre of Belfast, like.
I know, but this is the
Like if you go to Tampa Bar, you'd be paying £10 for a pint, like.
It's true. Like.
€10, like.
But we came back
miserable
broken.
bastards,
Can't wait
like.
to go out this
We
weekend and
can-
spend
I know,
more money.
We bring the calculator out.
You'll be asking for receipts to
Bring
write
the
it off your tax bill.
calculator, like.
Then I don't know what you're talking about. You ended up going back down to Dublin that weekend. You were that keen. You went to see Kevin Hart.
I got that for Rona's birthday. Like.
How was it?
And
How did it go?
It was
Big
good.
Kev.
It was good. Like. He was unreal.
Unreal.
Yeah, he was so good. Like he was just Shane Todd and Colin Gaddis supported him, and I miss Colin Gaddis because I was at the bar. Like. But
How
Shane-
did that short?
He must
He
have
was
been in the
literally
bar.
on 10 minutes, I think. Like, I could be wrong, but like it seemed like 10 minutes. Like we were sitting there for like a good hour beforehand, and like with no phone or nothing, so we
Yeah.
didn't know what time it was or how long we'd been sitting
Oh,
there.
you weren't allowed to bring
No,
your phone in,
they
right?
give you like
Kevin
a wee
Hart came
pouch
round
to
at the
put your
start,
phone
like.
in, and it's like, you know, like the wee locks that you have on like bottles of drink, you know, that type of thing.
Like what?
You know,
The
like
wee magnetic locks?
like
Oh, yeah.
black locks. Like. It was
The wee
something
things you get in
similar to that.
Tesco that lock the
Oh,
tent glasses.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was like one of them.
Like security tag.
Yeah, and then like as soon as you get to the door, you have to put your phone in it. And so we didn't know what time it was. So then we went up to get drink, and then Gaddis came on, and I missed him. But then seeing Shane Todd, he was good, like. And then Kevin Hart came on, and he was just like a different level, like. But like a bit of drama at the gig, like.
What do you mean?
So like, have you ever been at like gigs? Like this is my first sort of.
Was this your personal drama?
No, this was like something that happened in the crowd, like.
Oh dear.
So like it was all seated obviously, but this was my first like big comedy gig I've went to. Like I've been to like one comedy night in like the Empire, but I haven't been to something like this. Like. So like there was these people who kept going like woo, like randomly like wooing. Do you know like like in a concert or shit, like people go like,
yeah.
but like at the comedy gig, like when Kevin Hart was on,
So
and just such like it wasn't even like funny joke, like were you like on people whistling on. It was just like random times.
I'm like, were they taking the piss or like?
It was just like they kept doing it, like, and it was just like at random times.
It's probably people drunk, like.
So like there was this girl up to our left who kept doing it, and I couldn't figure it out who it was, like, and she kept doing it every time, like I mean every few minutes. Like I mean, like Kevin Hart was started, like he was doing a bit and he was like saying about his dad, and he's like, my dad, he's like, his lungs are fucked basically. He's like, his breathing's fucked, like he's had lung cancer, he's got like COPD, and the girl literally shouted woo after he said that. And I was sitting there going like, what the fuck? Yeah. And then this went on, and then it was like it sort of was happening like at different stages where you sort of like a bit like, what the fuck?
You probably forgot she was there.
Yeah,
like after.
But then she kept doing it one stage, and then this girl like a few rows in front of her turned around and was just like, would you shut the fuck up? And everyone was like, because I knew where like the area it was, but then that confirmed where it was, like. Yeah. And then she was like, and everyone looking over and all, and Kevin Hart's on stage, and you're sort of like, what the fuck? And then
did he stop?
No, we kept going, because like I was like, so there was the seats on the ground, and then we were just like a tier above. Like the seats were still good, but like we weren't like I don't even think you would have been like, oh, break it up, guys. Yeah. So like she'd said that, and then your other girl bit back. So the next thing, they were going at each other, and like your girl in front of her like got off her seat and all, and was like in her face being like, shut the fuck up. And then the two boyfriends got involved, like,
oh my god,
and they were like fucking going at each other and shouting and all this here shit and all. And then one of the boyfriends was like, oh, come on, fucking outside now. And like the other boyfriend, and they were like, everyone was like looking like, what the fuck's happening here? No security and nothing got involved. So then he gets up and walks out, the boyfriend of the girl who was shouting, but leaves her sitting on her own with the other two. So then I'm sitting there going, this isn't going to end well for her, like he's just fucked off. And then she got up then and left, and that was alright, and they were gone for like 20 minutes, like. Yeah. And then the boyfriend comes back, because the other boy didn't go outside, he just stayed on. He comes back to like, you know, like sort of where the stairs would be, like entry, and shouts up across the crowd. He's like, come on the fuck down to the toilets here and all this here stuff. And he's like, come on and all this here, and like looking around, like, and everyone's like, oh my god. And then security eventually was like, right lad, it's time to go, like.
That's fucking Kevin. Like, why would you want to leave a Kevin Hart concert to go fucking box somebody?
How much were the tickets?
I think they were like 60 quid.
Yeah, there you go, 60 quid well spent. Like.
That's a fucking joke. Like,
well pay to go to the
but also, everyone was sort of laughing. They were like a fucking comedy gig, like. Yeah. Do you know, like they were like, this is a bit
place of fun and laughter, and then.
But to be fair, like your girl was being annoying. Like I could tell if everyone was looking over trying to sort of catch her eye to be like, what, would you shut up? Like? Yeah. But then she just.
He not saying anything at all, like.
Kevin Hart, no.
Well, did he notice it?
I don't know, because I was sort of had a feeling, I was like surely he can hear this.
You have to, yeah.
But then we were pretty high up. Like.
But then I would say if you've done as many like arenas and like tours as he's done, you're probably used to that stuff. Like, where it's just like,
I think it's different. Like you see people doing it at gigs, like
heckling.
No, not like comedy gigs, but like concerts where like it's in the crowd and people are like, you're obviously pushing into all people and all, which I think's probably a bigger deal. Whereas like this here was just seated.
Did you not see Sam Fender there recently stopped the gigs? Two boys were scrapping in the crowd. Like,
I've seen a few.
But then that's what you not find. This sounds really bad. Ever since the whole Travis Scott thing, that's like all you see is like. One's posting TikToks up and all. It's like Sam Fender stops gig because of fight, such and such stops a gig because of pushing, and it's all the same. It's like, oh, stop, can we get her some water and all this here? And it's like, I think now like performers are really just like after the whole Travis Scott situation, because obviously that did not go down well.
But did you not hear about Kevin Hart the weekend? No. Apparently it was really bad, like really crammed, like proper really crammed. And one snuck in and all, and everyone was like pushing against each other, and I think it was something similar where like a few people had to go home because they were
we went to the Killers.
Yes sir.
Did we? It was very good.
It was good.
Makes you wonder, like I thought I knew a lot more Killers songs than I actually did. Like you were loving life.
There's just a lot of songs, like like the most of the songs that I would know were like off their first few albums, like and I would have listened to them from when I was young, like, but there was a lot of songs I sang that I was a bit like, I don't know this, like.
What about your boy getting up stage, the drummer?
That was sick.
I seen his hot in the charity shop the next day. Not his specific one, but the
exact banana one he had.
Like.
Yeah, and that fucking, what do you call it, shop we passed? The vintage one. It was like out in the street and all.
What about your boy from the sex shop? Trying to groom us, like?
Was this whenever you
Yeah,
went out?
we were all waiting on the taxi, and he come up by us. I seen this guy sitting, and he was sitting eating a sandwich on a bench, and we had just come out. This was the second day we were trying to get a taxi into town, and the next minute, like me and him were just sitting chatting because you and Aoife were trying to sort out a taxi. Next minute, like I clocked him sitting on the bench and thought, oh, that's what a weird place to be sitting having your lunch, like just in the middle of like, because the street wasn't exactly like the most like active, or like, I could imagine it in the centre of Dublin when there's a lot of stuff going on, but this was a bit of a cake hole.
Yeah.
And he turns around, he just appears behind us and was like, are you lost? Do you need directions anywhere?
Oh, fuck yeah.
And I went, and immediately I went, but like he was right up behind us, and immediately I went, no. And he went, oh, dead on. And then he just like ran across the road into the sex shop, and I was like, right, do different things. Like probably
see him going into the sex shop.
Probably had nothing to do with each other, but it made me kind of go like, I looked at Thomas, I was like, oh, look at him asking us for, are you lost?
I'll give you somewhere to go.
Yeah, I'll give you somewhere to go.
Oh my god.
But remember the one we walked into in Dublin, and the boys and all shouting at you whenever you got, this was a completely different time. Like we walked in, it was like no flash photography or something, or no photography in the shop. No, sorry, Derry.
Oh yeah.
And we walked in, and we walked in a massive like Gibson in the back with like,
He's all fucking
ears and all.
freaked and like left, like, and I just left me there.
I walked in, I seen it, and then I looked, and the guy behind the counter was like standing at attention as if like, oh, you looking at anything in particular? And I just was like looking around, all these like, I can't even all the smut that I seen was on there.
I'm sure he gets that all the time. People just walking in for a laugh and then freaking out and just walking straight
I
back
walked
out.
in and I walked out, and I was like, never again. And then conveniently enough,
But I just felt
5 minutes later, you were just browsing.
that's because it felt rude. You just fucking freaked and made a beeline for the door, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I'm not walking. I'm just gonna pretend I'm fucking looking at stuff here. Like there was some just like random shit like fucking bongs and stuff. Like, and I was just like,
imagine if you come up behind you and go, so what type of bondage are you into? You're trying to entertain him, and you're like, oh, I really love it whenever she cable ties you,
You turn around and he's already got his handcuffs on you. Let's go in the back room.
But the boys weren't well for a few days after Dublin, like, were we?
No.
I wasn't well over the weekend there. The day after you said that.
Might have had something to do with the fact that you were chucking straws in everybody's drink, you absolute. So Thomas chucks a straw at Shay, and I mean like a dart player, just perfectly up in the air, straight in the drink.
Splash.
Shay turns around, lifts it out, chucks it, lands in the ground again. Thomas chucks it at Shay, hits off Shay's head and lands in Shay's drink again. I was like, no way did this just happen, like. And then conveniently now everybody, and then you chucked it in my drink, and then conveniently everybody get ill afterwards. Was that your straw?
No.
You're a dirt. That was.
I know, but that's what I thought it was, your fucking straw. And then I was like laughing and just didn't think anything of it, and I throw it in again then. And then next thing I was sort of looking at it, it was all fucking chewed and all. It's like someone's been fucking gnawing on this and they've spat it out in the ground.
He goes to me, where did you get that? And I was like, it was just lying on the ground.
That was in my drink. Hey,
There's a well
stepping
on
on
that stage.
but I don't know whether that had anything to do with the fact. But like, we weren't well. How did you feel?
I was great. Like,
COVID-y?
I was hanging, and then on Friday, like sort of during work, I was like, I don't feel great. And then after work, I was fucking racked, like head banging and all, and I just got into bed. Like.
My head was thumping. That was the same as me. My head was thumping and I was just so
Do you think
fucking
we're
warm all the
getting
time. Man.
Do you think we're getting older and just not able to hack the
I
pace
don't.
now?
I think it was the walking as well. Hey,
Oh, it killed me.
because it
man.
was a lot of walking about. Like
Yeah.
like us after.
I started chafing, hey, and see once you start, like, it's game over.
I
I
was
remember you
just racked
asking
after
Lucinda,
it.
you were like, would paracetamol help my chafing?
Might though. It's painkiller. Chafing's pain.
Down it. Get the painkiller.
Do you think it was the walking? I just think it's.
I just
we're
think
getting older,
it
not-
wasn't a very like relaxing holiday.
What
Yeah.
about the fucking dart?
Absolute sweat.
Never again.
I was from
Never again,
sweating
mate.
about 60
There was
degrees.
some guy, I don't know if he's noticed it, but there was some guy, he must have been fucking like 6'8" or something, and he got on and he was right up against you.
Aye,
and
I
you were
felt
making faces, but I had my hand on the fucking, what do you call them things you hold on to?
The pole.
Like, but like, is there not a specific name for it on a,
I don't
on a
think
train?
so.
A train pole.
It was holding on to it anyway, and like I could just
Holding
see
on to his
every
pole.
3 seconds his hand, the amount of sweat on it, it would just slide down the pole and then just touch the top of mine, and I was like, get the fuck, and then he'd just look around and go, and then slide it up again. And then, like, literally every...
He was great.
Like clockwork, every 10 seconds. He touched, and then it would stop. He'd like touch my arm for a second, and then he'd be like, oh, and then up again. It was so fucking annoying. I made eye contact with him one point, and I was like, the fuck are you doing?
Did he make that noise? Or did he just go, oh?
Yeah, he didn't make that noise, but he'd be like, there'd be sort of like a wee jerk, and he'd be like, and then it'd be like,
Disgusting.
instantly, as soon as he got his hand back up to the top, it would just start sliding down again.
Just grabbed his hand and went.
He should have just looked him dead in the eyes and just grabbed his hand and
not let go. But he looked like he was fucking whopped out of it, like, so I didn't want to start no shit with him. Like.
The dart was just, that was my worst nightmare.
It was
like, I was just being grinding it on, and then the more I looked through the windows, the more, oh my gosh.
Surely that's against human
some amount of people are piling on it, like. But how, like, it's just an awkward. Would it put you off going back to Malahide? Like?
Yeah.
Would it?
I think I get it.
How else do you get out of it, like, if you're staying in Dublin?
I don't know.
I can see the
only thing
the
that I would change
there, but
was like I would have went.
It's good venue. The pubs are class and all.
I would have went to the pubs earlier. Like, I think we should have just.
But that doesn't help you going
straight
home.
away. I know, but I'm just in general.
So I didn't really mind because it was alright getting out. It wasn't too bad on the dart, like, but it was just the getting home for me. It was just fucking. Oh, you'd be safer getting the fucking dart to Drogheda, like, go north and then get a fucking taxi back into Dublin or something.
It's a nightmare to get taxis on.
But if you got it out, got the dart going north, because there was no queue at it. Everyone was just going back into Dublin.
Someone just take one for the team and drive. Like.
Yeah, there was a good car park there, like, loads of spaces.
We were talking about driving, like,
you could rent a driver the next time, like.
Rent a driver, like.
But
here, like, when you think about it, if we'd have went for more, like, say we just went from Katie, the amount of time it took us to get back to the room, like,
man, we would have been home. I would have been home my bed quicker, like.
Probably,
no doubt.
when you think about it, like,
what? Like, if we got a train in your,
like, say we'd went from like Katie to Dublin to go to Killers, like, and then the amount of time it took us to get walking back and getting the dart to the hotel, we probably would have been back. And
from we left the concert, it was probably 2 hours, 2.5 hours traveling, wasn't it?
Because you think it's almost a convenience staying in Dublin, but really, was it?
No,
it's hard to know, like.
I don't think so.
Unless I had a hotel parking, I wouldn't bother my whole.
Like, I think if I was going back to Dublin now for something, I would book a hotel car park and just drive up. Like.
But you're not going to drive to the concert and not drink, like.
I know that, but, like, I just mean if I was staying in Dublin again, I fucking hate all the travelling and public transport.
If anyone knows any hacks on how to get the fuck out of Malahide after a concert,
please let us know.
But do you know,
free absolute doses just walking around, like.
Do you not think even, like, the next day, like, just being able to
hop in your own
go
car,
home when you want to go home, like.
Yeah.
Whereas like it's like, oh, you have to leave Dublin at a specific time and shit, like.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the hole. Like, we could,
like, walking around trying to fuck with your suitcases and shit, like.
I was so jealous whenever you got off the train at Newry. I was like, I get to go into a nice car, like, and just drive home. Whereas we had to get the train like another 45 minutes down the road and then got on a Translink train from, not to say Translink's bad, like, Translink's, well, the train to Dublin was nicer, but the Translink was
Don't be
like,
starting beef with Translink, bro.
but, like, at the end of the day we got on it and it was like 5:45, 5:45, 5:45 maybe. So, like, every who was on that train, like, coming home from work, and I was like, oh my god, like, just get me home. But I think it's just more the fact that, like, the day you travel home, you're a bit, like, sort of tired because you've had very little sleep. You're also incredibly hungover, which doesn't help the situation. But how have you felt, like, have you been back at the gym yet? Have you been transitioned any? Nah.
Well,
you gymming at all?
No. Not a bit. Just eating beef and fucking
not a drop.
Laying up watching Goldbridge in the evenings in Love Island.
You've made some healthy, conscious decisions.
I was at the gym on Monday, like.
I think it's just a thing. As soon as you go, like, I know, like, I would say I was back at the gym yesterday and kind of got everything, and then went to run this morning. And I know I'm gonna go, like, play football and stuff this week and go cycle and stuff, and I know I'm gonna get back on the horse, like. That's I'm gonna get back in the zone. But then I know this weekend we're going to be going out again, and I know when Sunday comes or Monday comes, it's going to be back to square one again. And I don't know how well I'm looking forward to
hard, like.
it. It's
It's
so
a hard graft, like.
But then people always
Is it better to do that than do nothing? I think so.
people always talk about like what on TikTok and stuff, because you see all these ones now. I feel like all these people are, you know, gym goers and all this here, and they're like, oh, like if you go on a night out, don't let it affect you, like just get back on the wagon. And I'm like, it is as simple as that.
If you're home at 6 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym at 6:05.
Yeah, it is as simple as that, like. But at the same time, it's hard, like. It's hard. It's hard getting back into like the swing of things, and you feel like such a sow. I feel like it's because you've defeated yourself. You know what I mean?
I'd rather just take the rest.
But how long do you rest for? Because you've done nothing.
You dare to, like. But if I went to the gym the day after I went out, I just have a shit session, go home, and feel like shit, and just be like, "What was
cry
it?"
yourself to sleep.
Fuck that.
I suppose it's, you know, a bad session's better than no session.
Rest,
nice,
rest,
lad.
rest, and get yourself ready, and do a good one the next day.
But you could do the bad session and then do a good session.
Fuck that. You'll not go back the next day. You'll sicken yourself.
Do you feel like over here we do drink too much?
Well, this is the thing
Especially
we're going to talk about.
I was going to say especially in summer, but it's actually no different in winter.
Like
I
over
think
here, it's always the same thing. Like if it's a nice day, it's like we're not gonna go get wrote. Like,
See, like I think it's when you think about, like, do you really need to be drinking here? Like?
What do you mean?
Like at the Killers, I was fucking wrecked. Like in that pub before, I was sitting there thinking, I'm fucking wrecked. So I was thinking, I need to get a few drinks in here, get a bit of a buzz going. But like, you're sort of like, do I need to be drinking here?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Loosens you up a bit, I suppose, though.
I felt, but then I was buzzing, like it was more energetic. Like.
We did have a good time
Like
at the
I had
concert.
a thing, like, what do you call it? Second wind.
Yeah.
But it was the first night that took it out of us. Like.
After you had that Long Island iced tea, you were away. Like,
I was on the island. Like.
to be fair, I had such a good time at that silent disco.
I was fucked.
That was the thing as well. But then that's the thing. I think if I was to do it again, I think I would take out the Jameson chair.
What?
Because I feel like if I'd have had a lie-in and went and got breakfast and then been like, we'll go out to Malahide, sitting at the pub, you know.
But then this is the thing, right?
It's
so
just the
it goes back
travelling, like,
goes
it's the
back to the
travelling.
whole thing as well. Like, do we drink too much over here? Whereas like you're like straight in, straight on it. You're like have a lie in. Like what's it? Like at least the Jameson tour got us up and got us about. Like got us a bit like actually done something productive. Like at least we can turn around and go, oh, we actually did something. Whereas like what you're talking about is effectively getting up the next day and just basing all your plans around going to a pub.
I sound like we didn't even get enough time
more
drinking.
if I had a more of a lie-in. Like if I'd have lay in more.
I felt like we didn't get enough time
You
drinking.
don't lie in though.
I know, but it's just...
Has he ever lay in? Like in any of the times we've been out, he's always messaged at like 9 a.m. and be like, any man up?
But he'll go back to bed, so yeah.
No, he won't.
He will,
He won't,
actually.
I do.
That's how me and Ryan were up, like. I think he must have slept at like 12 o'clock, and I was like, holy fuck.
We sleepy head. But like, I think with the whole drinking thing, I think there's every family event becomes a session now. Whereas like I think when you were younger, you didn't really think like that. No?
Yeah.
Like, do you not feel like that with like communions and confirmations? Like it's a session. Like
See,
it's not.
I don't think that would. I very rarely hear that happening. Like,
And christenings, like,
Like communions.
No, I'm not meaning communions. Like, I just mean more like, you know, if there's a
because you don't have communion.
if there's a christening or something long, we do have communion.
But you
No, you
do you
don't.
have communion?
We have communion. You have communion every Sunday.
Communion.
We have communion like once.
No, but you don't have a
Do you have first
communion,
first
like
communion?
first communion, yeah.
No.
Right, so like things I got on like birthdays and stuff, like
Yeah, it's a big thing. Like, but even think like funerals for you, that you are like you go drinking afterwards. It's always like all go to the, like. Whereas with us, it's like I'm not saying it's like labeled as like, you know, just for your
but I
guys.
feel like it's any excuse to have a drink.
Yeah,
That's what I would say. Like, I don't, like, is there a problem of drinking here? Like, that's the question?
some people see drinking as a solution though.
I don't. Do you think people drink too much here? Like, do you think there's too much drinking?
I know whenever you're younger, like it's the thing to do. and it's it's crack with your mates and all this here. Like I know that, but like you even though there got to a stage with like we were doing stuff, and I actually did end up saying to you one time, like you said, well, we go up and we'll go out, and I was like, how about we actually do something, like go like play five-a-side football, like go kart and go golfing, like actually do something where we're not waking up the next morning with a sore head, like. And I think it just got to that stage where you're looking at it and you're like, I could go golfing and maybe go out for something to eat afterwards and have a drink, but then once you start that crap where you're like, oh, I'll have a drink, one turns into another turns into another turns into another, and before you know it, you
never just have one drink, like.
Never. And this is the thing, it's like that's when we get a wee bit like, oh, you can't control yourself, like.
Yeah.
But like, can we control ourselves, or is it just wired into us to be like, oh.
I went to Kevin Hart, and it was like after we'd been to Dublin, and I was like, on the way up the road, I was in bad shape, like.
Yeah.
And I was just like, not a chance of me having a drink. But as soon as I got in there, I was like, oh, I might get a pint.
Yeah.
I ended up having 4 pints, like. Do you know?
Animal.
But
like,
do you think, do you think it's a problem, like?
Yeah, I suppose. One thing I noticed is whenever we went on holidays, we didn't really drink that much, like.
Yeah.
Comparison, like if we were going out here every night, like I would have drank every night. Like say we went out here and went to Dublin for a week, like like the fight, like we went for 5 days. So if we went to Dublin for 5 days, you drink every night, like. Whereas me and Aoife only really drank one night, like. But I think it was because there was so much more to do over there. Like, whereas here, there's fuck all to do.
There's just pubs. Like, what did you do over there that you couldn't do here?
Just go to nice restaurants and shit. And like, if we're really like, you go to the beach, sit by the pool and shit. Like, I know people like to drink by the pool and stuff, but like, I'd rather get in and play like fucking, with a ball or something in the pool. And some people,
Aoife brings a ball, just throws it in, shit away, the fuck.
Do you bring that thing in your suitcase? You drop it at the bottom of the pool and you have to dive in to get it.
Yeah, Aoife sits in the sunbed reading the book and
she's like throws the ball.
I run like a fucking dog into it. There's so much. Even if you wanted to go to the beach or like go jet skiing, I know it's like a holiday novelty thing, like, but there's still so much more to do.
But then you look over here, like we do have a lot to offer, like. But
it's not all around you. Whereas whenever I was on holidays, you could just walk 2 minutes down the street.
Yeah. I think it's because when you're like, I remember whenever we went to Gran Canaria, like we were all inclusive and we barely drank. Yeah. Like maybe like I'm talking like 1 or 2 pints a day, and when you're sitting beside the pool. But then we were ending up going like water parks and going out walks and going to beaches and stuff. I feel like when you're over in places, you're wanting to like explore the different places and be able to say, oh, we did that. Like I remember whenever we went to Mallorca, like we wanted to go paddleboarding at beaches. We wanted to, and one night we went out drinking, but like it spoiled the next day. You know what I mean? And I think it's just maybe a thing down here where it's like pubs are so accessible. Like you look at Katie,
but it is quite a sociable thing.
You blink and you're straight through it. Whereas how many pubs do you have in Katie? 11, like.
Well, he lives in Katie and you're looking at me, like.
I was waiting for it. It looked like you were totting up in your head. I thought you were going to say 12 or something.
But I think it's a sociable thing as well.
Yeah.
Like going out for a pint with your mates and you actually have the crack. See, like, that's the thing, is like when you don't really know people as well, like you're not going to be like, oh, will we go for a coffee, like, or will we go to, like, do you know what I mean? Like you sort of get to know people sort of loosen up a bit when they've had a drink.
Yeah, well that's what I was going to say. Do you think that going out drinking in a crowd creates more like memorable and like actual decent bonds?
I was listening to the Two Johnnies podcast and they were talking about it, and they were saying, I don't think it's a bad thing when you're going out with your mates and having a few pints and having the crack, like. Yeah. Like it's a good thing, like, to go out maybe once a week and like meet people. But they were like, it's when you're drinking in the house for the sake of it, like, things like that, like.
Yeah,
like that's when it becomes a problem. I don't think it's a problem here. I think it's a good thing people go out drinking and socialising, but I think like there is that sort of thing of like every social event you're having a drink at it, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think what annoys me sometimes is like sometimes we go to plan stuff as a group and like it's always the same sort of similar vibe, like like, oh, we need to do something again, which is come up to Belfast, go out for dinner, go out to a pub somewhere, sit most of the night, come back to yours, wake up the next morning and we all go home. Whereas like I find now that like we're getting older, like it's just stuff like I know, but like but like you find actually going out and doing stuff is good crack. Like,
I think we've went more down the road of, instead of going out like every other weekend, we'll maybe do something once a month, like go down to like the likes of Dublin or go to Derry or something, like. And we're going to Galway races, like. You know, like that'll be good crack, but we'll be drinking, like.
Oh yeah.
See, do you know what I mean though? Like, it's just, I don't know.
But you think you could go to Galway races and not drink? Because you'd enjoy the gambling and stuff, like.
Yeah.
And the horses, and there's some
Another
I'm not saying it.
Replace one with the other.
Well, like, you could probably go to Galway races and just enjoy the atmosphere.
I think I'd still have a good time, like.
Yeah.
Like,
or like even like the Armagh match coming up the weekend, like. You could go to that and not drink.
Yeah.
But you'd probably be better if you did.
You're just more relaxed, like.
Yeah. But
I think it's just wired into people's heads over here.
It's hard to switch off as well, though. Like
it's
that's
the first
what I
thing.
think,
It's the first thing. Like we literally talking about Cage Warriors at the weekend.
Sauce.
And like as soon as that came up, it's like we'll go to a pub beforehand, have a few drinks before we go into the SSE because we'll get financially robbed in the SSE. As a, you know what I mean? Like it's as soon as we even like talk about it, we're straight on talking about like because. You know what I mean? And then you're thinking, like, how bad is it that we've actually had the discussion about what we're going to do beforehand? Because as soon as we get into the SSE, it'll be a clean fortune.
Drinking,
like, it's all about the sauce. Like
we've talked more about the drinking than we have about the actual event we're going to.
We've made more plans centred around going for pints than we have going to the SSE and what we paid like £60 to go and see.
Don't even know where I'm sitting or not.
I don't even know where we're going. Like I know we're going to the SSE, but like it wasn't until the other day where I realised this is Cage Warriors, not even UFC.
Yeah.
Like,
we couldn't afford. Well, the UFC's not coming to Belfast.
Nah, like, but probably will be better crack as
well.
Wee
buns,
but yeah, looking forward to it anyway. Lots of plans, but let us know if you're listening to this right now. Send us a wee message. I mean, you could email us as well if you wanted to.
Here's the crack at
gmail.com. Love it. Yeah, what do you think? Do you think over here in Ireland we just everything's centered too much around drinking? If you have any funny stories as well, I actually love to hear stories whenever people are like full on steaming stuff that they've done, because I know that's always something that we will cherish when we're older, is looking back at all the crap that we've done and go, I can't believe you've done that. Like Thomas in Derry exposing himself to the
wasn't even drunk,
to the Peace Bridge. But yeah, please get in touch with us, let us know. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Cheerio.